Standard manufacturing logic relies on isolation, perfecting a single prototype in a controlled lab before handing the design off to a factory located somewhere else. Hospitality is the only industry where that logic breaks. Here, the prototype and the entire production run share the exact same postcode. A hotel designs a single room, then manufactures it 200 times inside its own walls, finishing the entire run before a single guest ever sleeps in one. The math is unforgiving. A 250-key hotel is a $117 million object, with the median cost over $400,000 per room. But there is a massive temporal mismatch. The defining decisions are made in a few weeks, then executed, without change, for half a decade. Every hotel operates as a permanent manufacturing run trapped inside a single building, making those first spatial decisions infinitely heavy. The loss of design agency begins early, during the initial architectural phase, where the fundamental boundaries are established. In these first weeks, the unchangeable core is locked: room depth, bathroom position, and utility riser locations. These layout dimensions are the building. Multiplied by the key count, these geometric choices dictate the structural reality of the entire asset. This structural grid is frozen almost immediately, not because the design is perfected, but simply because the drawings must go out to price the job. Prefabricated bathroom pods accelerate this physical lock-in. These units are built in a factory while the building frame is still going up. Automotive designers freeze early to rigorously interrogate a design before tooling begins. Hospitality freezes early by accident, just to keep the paperwork moving. The industry has adopted the aggressive speed of a manufacturing supply chain, but it has yet to adopt the conceptual discipline required to control it. This creates a crisis for the physical mock-up room, the most expensive single artifact in a hotel's development cycle. The mock-up offers a false sense of control. It almost always arrives far too late to halt the structural grid or cancel the prefabricated pod orders. Discovering that a room is 200 millimeters too shallow in a mock-up is a hollow insight. At this stage, changing that dimension would cost an entire floor plate. The only leverage remaining is surface finish. You can trade a thinner veneer to buy back a line in the budget or swap a tap. These late-stage fixes only trade value away. True architecture compounds, but only if the decisions are made while the design is still fluid. Ultimately, the mock-up room is built for approval rather than debate, turning procurement events into a referendum on choices that closed years ago. The standard defense is that hotels get a second chance during a refurbishment. But look at what a refurbishment actually touches: new furniture, relighting, and fresh carpet. It is almost entirely surface level. A renovation can move a bed, but it will never move a bathroom. Everything the renovation cannot touch was decided in the first weeks of the project, and it will stay there for 30 years. The stakes for those first weeks are rising as operator groups like Accor and IHG move toward plural hospitality, shifting their briefs to include hybrid stays, co-living, and extended stay apartments. Without an inherited standard layout to fall back on, the concept phase is no longer a warm-up. It is the entire architectural argument. For a design to succeed, it must be seen, walked, and judged in those first weeks, while the digital grid is still soft. If you wait for the physical build to find a flaw, you are building that expensive surprise 200 times. Design intelligence allows you to interrogate the concept before the freeze, ensuring the spatial math works before the first pod is ordered. This restores the physical mock-up to its proper role. It becomes a confirmation of quality rather than a late-stage discovery of a structural error. In hospitality, early architectural intent compounds once per key, every single night, for the life of the asset. Design decisions are cheap as a sketch, but brutal once tooled. See every angle before you build.